It's your birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Go, 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 go. Go finance, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. Go finance, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday.
Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. Hope everyone is ready to have some fun today. Hope you guys are all ready to rock and roll as we usually do out here. So shout out to everyone out there. Welcome in.
It's your birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Go,
Shout out to everyone out there.
Go, 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 go. Go finance, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday.
That's right. It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. That's right. Yeah. All right, guys. All right. So, well, today's live stream, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be celebrating some birthdays. You know, not just my birthday. Again, I'm out here working on my birthday for you. You already know. I never turn it off. I'm always here, doing everything I can for you guys, for the community. And we're also celebrating Mexico's birthday. Let's not forget that. It's also Mexico's birthday. So, woohoo! And I just completely forgot. It's also Lambo's birthday, a little belated birthday. But I always forget. I actually, came across Lambo in August of 2018. Yes, I actually know this guy. I know Lambo longer than I know my wife. All right, that's why he's always around. All right, I've actually known him a lot longer. I remember when me and Christian got together. She eventually told me, hey, if we get together, you're gonna have to, also adopt Gizmo. It's gonna be me and Gizmo. And I'm like, all right, great. I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because if we're gonna get married, it's gonna be me and a Lambo. And she was like, ugh.
Bruh.
No, just kidding. She doesn't really care too much about Lambo. Really, she doesn't. Not a fan of Lambo. She's always telling me to get rid of him, as a good wife should. I totally understand it. But, at this point, she knows Lambo is just as important part of this channel as I am. Or maybe even more important. Yeah, that's right. I'm way more important than you, Jose. All right. By the way, he's the one that does all the work behind the scenes. All of it. All right. I just hang out with you guys. I do some live streams. I do a few videos here and there, but Lambo's the one that does everything. All right. That's it. I have to come clean with you guys. All right. He's the one that, films the videos. He films me. He edits the videos. He does everything. He does all the work. He uploads the videos. He does the questions. He does everything. He does everything. That's why, the channel is not as, it's not as good as it should be. All right. Because he's the one that's in charge. Hey, what are you talking about? Hey, anyways. All right. Anyways, guys, so welcome back to another show. In today's show, I really don't have much of a topic per se. Like I was telling you guys last week, what we're going to be doing today, since it's my birthday, and again, I should be out there celebrating, doing my thing, which I will be doing later. It's still a little early out here, after all. Is that I'm going to be just answering your questions. So please, today is a perfect time, for any one of you guys out there that have any questions that you guys want to ask me that I haven't answered already, because as you guys already know, I answer basically all of your questions, all the time, whether I do it in the live streams or I do it with the videos that I post up. I'm always answering your questions, and again, we usually use these live streams to answer questions, even though I always have a topic, and I'm always going off on rants and so on and so forth. But in today's show, I'll definitely go off on a rant if there's no questions coming in. But long story short, we're just going to be answering questions to the best of my ability, to the best of our ability. And, shout out to Cats out there with the $20 super chat. Oh, my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cats. I really appreciate the birthday gift. Mucho appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really, 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 really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, but by the way, September is a bit of a slow month around the YouTubes out here. So, I'm definitely, that $20 is going to go a lot further than it normally would. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. So let's go through the chat. I mean, let's go through the whatchamacallit, the chat, and see what you guys are saying. We got by the way, so shout out to Cats, to Mason Lifestyle, Travel Girl, Harry, D1, Mahidi, Mary, everyone out there. Sylvia says, happy birthday to you, Jose. I love watching your informative videos. Sometimes in the future, maybe moving to Mexico. Awesome. And I learned a great deal from watching the channel. Awesome. Hey, happy to hear that. Very, very glad I could help. And we see her, Hermelinda Hernandez says, happy birthday, que Dios te bendiga al lado de tu esposa y tu familia. Muchas gracias, te lo agradezco con todo el alma. Cristian ahorita está que salió al mercado a buscar las cositas para la fiesta esta noche. So, muchas gracias. I really, really appreciate it. Wayne Dickinson, right? Or Wade Dickstein. Nice name. Hopefully, anyways, I'll leave it there. Anyways, shout out to Wayne. Wayne says, hey, Jose, you helped me with the R&E at the end of 2024. Oh, awesome. Which obviously, as for some of you guys have been following the channel long enough, you know that the R&E program doesn't exist anymore. So, a shout out to all of you guys out there that were able to take, the R&E program, use the benefits of getting your residency through that program. And again, shout out to all of you guys. Congratulations to all of you guys that got your residency that way. Hopefully, again, next year, they should be renewing the R&E. Again, it might be a different name. It might be a different program, but similar, way of getting your residency. Hopefully that should be around again next year. But anyways, shout out to you, Wayne. I'm glad that I was able to help. Well, or Jose Novella was able to help. But regardless, congratulations and thank you for sharing with us. Wayne says, how is the best way to connect to talk about moving into Mexico? I have some questions, Wayne. Oh, that's a great question. So might as well, show you guys real quick. All right. So 1 second. So the best way to reach out to me, all right, is go to my website. All right, josearteaga.com. You can't get any easier than that, okay? All the links are down below, but it's very, very easy to get at my website. Anyways, on my website, you're going to see a bunch of links with a bunch of information, okay? Again, I got tons of free information on the website, but for someone like Wayne that would like to, talk to me one-on-one, well, you can just click on right there where it says personalized consultations, all right, and just set up a consultation. That's it. Everything's right there. Very easy to, understand. You send me an email and we get the ball rolling and we get started and that's it. Long story short, we'll do a video call and I'll answer all of your questions. There's no real time limit. All right. No time limit is just basically, you have me for as long as it takes for me to answer all your questions and for you to feel comfortable. All right. Sometimes it's a few minutes. Sometimes it's over an hour. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. I'm just here, to help you out. Just in case that you cannot get all the information that you need from all my videos. Well, I'm here to take you towards that last leg of the trip there. So anyways, shout out to you there. So again, Wayne, all you got to do is just go to my website and send me an email and we'll go from there. Oh, we got D-Mal with a $20 super chat. Oh my goodness. Here, let's get this going here.
It's your birthday.
So shout out to D-Mal.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Which is gracias.
Go.
Thank you guys for making it rain. Really appreciate it.
It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your
Yeah, so it's,
birthday.
I'm turning 44 years old, all right, guys?
Like it's your birthday.
I know, I'm becoming an old fart. When I moved to Mexico 7+ years ago, I was 38 years old, and now I am 44. Or actually, I was 37. 37? If anyone knows what movies that's from, you get a special award from me. But anyways, I moved out here when I was 37, and I'm 44 now, all right? So how crazy is that? How time flies, huh? Time really does fly when you're having fun, as the kids say these days. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like there's me in the Pueblo of Teco enjoying some random fruit with some guy that was having a beer, right there in the village. By the way, I'm just showing you guys a bunch of clips of videos, throughout the years that I've been here. Um, but yeah, again, thank you so much, D-Mal. Thank you so much, Cats, for the $20 super chats. I really, really, really appreciate it. Muchas gracias. But what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But anyways, but yeah, so today, not only are we celebrating my 44th birthday, but we're also celebrating again. It's 7 years, 7 birthdays, 7 freaking birthdays that I've celebrated out here already. How insane is that? And again, 7 years that I've been with Lambo, almost 7 years that I've been with Christian. Me and Christian have been married for 5.5 or almost 6 years now. We got married in January of 2020. So, but we met, I think, in March or April or May of 2019. So, yeah, I mean, so much has happened since I've lived out here. It's kind of insane. People always ask me about, the U.S. or going back home or whatever, and it's like I don't know what you guys are talking about. I am home. This is home. I am living, you know. I am setting up my roots here. This is where I want to be. Why would I ever want to go back to the USA? You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me? For me right now, even thinking about going to the USA, it would be more like it would be a daunting experience. It would be a daunting situation for me, where I would now have to go through this humongous cultural what's the word I'm looking for? Cultural shock. A giant culture shock. Going back to the USA because I've been here so long and I'm just used to life out here already that just going back to the USA for me right now that would be more of a culture shock than probably you guys moving out here. Even though I know for a lot of you guys, moving out to Mexico, it is a monster culture shock, for obvious reasons. Again, we're walking through El Centro here, as you guys can see. For some of you guys coming from the US or Canada, a lot of what you're seeing in a lot of my videos is very foreign to you. But at least for me, coming from Miami, born and raised in Miami, and just coming from a Latin culture and all that stuff, for me, a lot of the life that I have out here, a lot of the experiences that I have out here daily basis, are very similar to how I grew up and very similar to what I had back home in the US. So for me, yeah, it's like I feel like living in Mexico becomes more and more comfortable for me as each day passes, and just the whole idea or thought of even going back to the USA or Canada is kind of insane to me at this point, because it's just I could never I could never get used to it again. In fact, I never got used to it. I never ever got used to living in the USA, throughout the 37 years, all right, that I was there. All right, let's not count the first 10 plus, all right, because we're still kids. But for 25 years, give or take, all right, I just never got used to living in the USA, and I thought I was the crazy one. I thought that I was the one that had the problems. I thought that I was the one that was just not all right, as the kids like to say. And but the reality is, it wasn't anything but that. It wasn't anything like that at all. It wasn't until I moved to Mexico that I quickly realized that yeah, no, this is what feels normal to me. This is what feels good to me. This is what I've always been missing my whole life. And yeah, just yeah, I can never even go back. I can never even fathom of going back or anything like that. But anyways, just wanted to give a shout out to all of you guys out there. We got Just Me. He has a question finally. By the way, please ask me your questions. That's why I love doing these live streams too, because I'm always like, I remember when I was doing these years ago, you guys always had a gazillion questions. And these days, I get more views on a regular basis, and yet I get less questions, which again, is a testament to all the things that I've done so far in providing all kinds of answers to all of your questions and then some, because, well, you guys don't really have many questions left these days, simply because I've answered all of them and answered even more questions that you never thought you even needed an answer to. But anyways, Just Me says, I have been back to Mexico since they did the smoking ban 2 years ago. Are people still smoking anyway? Yeah, look, let's talk about the smoking ban for a quick minute. Okay, so you guys already know, I talk about it all the time. Living out here in Mexico, it feels like living in the USA 30, 40 years ago. All right. And so 30, 40 years ago, there was no smoking ban in the USA. You could basically smoke anywhere and everywhere, like in a hospital, all right, or in an airplane or whatever. So the only thing that Mexico did a couple of years ago when they instituted a smoking ban is that they joined the rest of the first world. They joined the rest of the world out there that has banned smoking in places like a hospital, a restaurant, certain areas and certain places. Okay, but long story short, it's not banned. It's not illegal. You could smoke. People smoke cigarettes all the time, smoke, whatever all the time. Now, of course, there's not a humongous culture of smoking out here as, there might be in other countries or whatever. Man, by the way, I apologize. Is that video skipping a lot? I don't know why it's skipping so much. I apologize. That's very weird. Hold on a second. This is bothering me a little bit. But yeah, but long story short, there's no real smoking ban. There's no real smoking, problem like that. You know what I mean? Where it's being restricted for anyone. So again, if you want to smoke your cigarettes, you can buy them at the convenience store. You could smoke them wherever. Again, just, if you see a no smoking sign, just like you see a no smoking sign in the USA, then you don't smoke. If you're in a fancy hotel in Cancun, well, they might not want you to smoke in the room. You might have to go to a special designated area. You might have to smoke on the balcony. Again, it's the same smoking rules that you already have in the USA. Only they're not that strict. In the USA, you can probably get, or in Canada, you probably get a fine. You might even get arrested, for smoking in the wrong place, all right, at the wrong time. But that's not how it works out here. There's no fines. You're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to anything. You could smoke. You can walk down the street and smoke. You can smoke in the front of your house. You can smoke anywhere and everywhere, okay? So it's not really a big deal. Again, except for designated areas that say no smoking, like private property, hospitals, airplanes, the train, the bus, just regular places that you wouldn't be smoking anyway, all right? So anyway, shout out to Terry Wright. Terry Wright, shout out to him for the $20 super chat. Oh my God, you guys are making it rain fat bills today. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. By the way, I apologize if it's a little too loud. Hopefully I'm not blowing any speakers out over there. But thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate all the love and support that you guys have always given me throughout the years. Thank you so much. All right, let me see. So yeah, but long story short, yeah, you got nothing to worry about when it comes to smoking, all right? Like I said, I have yet to see this to be a problem anywhere with anyone, all right? So don't worry about it. There's no smoking ban, all right? And again, another reason why I love Mexico so much. Laws, all kinds of laws are for the most part, just suggestions, as to how, people should behave or do their thing, but not really enforced to the extremity as they might be in our home countries. Just Me says, is the guy that plays La Bamba in the wheelchair still around Merida? My brother from another... Yeah, he's still around. In fact, I did a video not too long ago when I was walking through at Centro, and I bumped into him, and he was on the video. So yes, he's still around. He's still hanging around. So shout out to him. But thank you so much, all of you guys, for all the birthday well wishes and all the donations and the birthday gifts and everything. I really appreciate it. Katz asked, how do you keep bugs out of the house, kitchen, ants, cockroaches, spiders? Man, I wish I had an answer to that, because I myself, also have that problem. Look, the reality is that there is a way to insulate your house, from bugs, but that would mean that you would have to seal your house up completely. And what that means is that you got to keep your doors and your windows closed at all times. You got to probably pay for, meaning purchase, some sort of weather stripping, some sort of, what's that stuff called? Yeah, weathering, the stuff that you put around the windows and the doors, so that, air doesn't escape, so that air doesn't come in, so that bugs don't come in, things like that. So that's one way you can mitigate it. Like, one way they can really, really mitigate it is, again, is just to keep your windows closed, your doors closed at all times, which means that you're going to have the air conditioner on a lot. Okay, so that's going to increase your bill. What most people do is that, again, during the morning hours, we open the windows, open the doors, let the nice air, fresh air come in around a certain time in the afternoon, early afternoon, before noon, give or take, depending on the time of year, you start closing the windows and the doors so that no hot air from outside gets in. All right. But during the day, again, as soon as I wake up, I open the doors and the windows to let the cool air from the night, from the morning, basically cool down the house. And then, like around the early afternoon, I close everything up to keep that cool air in the house and keep the hot, humid air outside. Again, hot and humid, depending on the time of year. Right now, this time of year, hot and humid. Earlier in the year, just very hot. Regardless, you do that, and then as night falls, as the sun goes down, again, you open up the windows again, and some of the doors, and you let the fresh air again circulate through the house. Now, when you open the doors and the windows, even if you have the screens for the bugs, you're still going to get bugs in. For us, we have a dog, so again, we can't always have the screens on because Gizmo can't teleport through a screen, one of those mosquito screens. So we got to keep the doors and some of the doors a little bit more open than usual. Also the screens, they keep the bugs away, but they keep a lot of the air away as well. The air doesn't circulate as great as it would without them. So again, there's benefits, there's plus and minuses. So there's certain things that you can do to mitigate, having bugs enter your home, or even little mouses or whatever things live out there. Again, all these things live in the USA as well. All these bugs and critters, they live all over the country as well. And it really just depends on how hermetically sealed your house is. Okay, I don't know if I said that correctly or not. So again, the more sealed your house is, the less likely you'll have any intruders into your home. The less you seal it up and keep it sealed. Like me, I don't keep it as sealed as other people might. So, and I have a little bit more of a problem with bugs and certain things coming in. Now, a lot of it also has to do with the surrounding areas. A lot of it has to do with various situations. Now, for example, no matter how sealed you have your house, you're probably still going to have ants come in, especially during the rainy season, because well, they're looking for high ground. And some of these ants are tiny, you can barely see, and they're just going to get in no matter what. All right, they get in through the walls, they get in through whatever. So ants can be a bit of a problem throughout the year, depending on the time of year. Flies, mosquitoes, they can also be a problem, mainly during the wet season, during the rainy season. As soon as winter comes and there's no more rain, well, you don't got any flies, you don't got any mosquitoes, nothing like that. So you're not getting bit all the time or whatever. So it really just depends, depending on the time of year, depending on the weather, depending on the bugs, and so on and so forth. I've been here 7+ years and I've never seen a scorpion yet. In the last couple months, I've seen 3 scorpions. Yeah, not just me, but people all over. You know what I mean? I got friends all over the city, and they've also been seeing scorpions, which we never see. So, I mean, it is what it is. But again, coming from Florida, we got bigger cockroaches in Florida. We got bigger bugs in Florida. We got alligators literally, walking down the street, with machine guns in Florida. So, out here, we don't got no crocodiles, with machine guns. We don't got these crazy bugs like we might have in Florida or Texas or other parts of the country. Now, again, yeah, there are bugs out here, but for the most part, you're going to see that it depends on who you are and where you're from as to whether the bugs are going to bother you or not. One thing that I realized when I lived in Washington State, when I was living in Seattle, was the fact that we didn't have any bugs up there. Very rarely did we have bugs up there. But like living in Florida, I mean, you got bugs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It just never ends. Out here in Merida, again, depends on the time of year. Some parts of the year you're going to see more bugs than others, but it's not really, I don't know, at least for me, not that big of a problem. In fact, my biggest problem is during the rainy season when we get the ants. Because when you get the ants, and especially the tiny little ants, it's like nothing is safe. Meaning that, you leave like, let's say that you're eating a cinnamon roll, and you put the cinnamon roll on the plate, on the table, and you go do something for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then you come back, your cinnamon roll will probably be invaded by all the tiny little ants in the vicinity. Now, does that happen all the time? No, it doesn't happen all the time. It happens during certain points in the year. And I've tried everything. We tried, I don't like using chemicals at all. That's not my thing. Because again, if these chemicals are killing the bugs, they're probably killing you as well. So I like to use natural, ways, to get, bugs away from the house or away from us. We use things like citronella. We use things like vinegar, and so on and so forth. And, it works sometimes. I don't want to say it works all the time, but hey, it's a small price to pay, in my opinion, to live out here, to have the bugs. So, hopefully that helps answer your question. There's no right or wrong answer. I don't have a complete answer. If you have a bug infestation, well, then you're probably going to have to hire a fumigator, but I've never had to really hire a fumigator. I know people that do, but again, it all depends on, you personally and how you deal with bugs and how your bug situation is. So hopefully that makes sense. Adrian says he remembers smoking in a plane. Yeah, man. You're much older than me. I never smoked on a plane. I don't remember that at all. I didn't really start, going on planes until way later. Way after the smoking ban. So let's see what else we got. Silvino Young says, "What's the best time to visit in order to learn if I'll be able to handle the weather?" Well, if you're asking me what is the hottest time of the year, the hottest time of the year is during spring and early summer, and it starts to cool down as the summer goes on. Late summer, we get a lot of humidity. That's around hurricane season. Late summer, early fall. So depending on the time of year, that could get hot and humid. So like right now, it's hot and humid during the day, but it's not as bad as it was a few months ago. So in my opinion, the hottest time of the year, the most brutal time of the year, would be during spring. So winter is great, but as soon as we get past winter and we go into spring, like immediately the change it hits you like a brick wall, and you notice it immediately. You go from cool-ish, cool for the Yucatan, but anyways, cool days, nice weather days, to all of a sudden brutal, intense heat that comes at the beginning of spring. And you're going from like 85-degree weather all the way to like 110-degree weather, like that, with no rain and no no kind of what's the word I'm looking for, no kind of like rest or reptis, anyways, whatever. Because usually by the time that summer comes along, that's when the rainy season starts, and so that helps. So when the rain comes, it helps, because without rain, which is what happens during the spring, it's just hotter, hottest, more hot, and it just keeps stacking on top of each other. And so it's just horrible. But once the rain comes, it just starts to cool everything down. But it's still hot. I mean, summer is summer. Don't get it. So respite. Yes, thank you, Delinda. Much appreciated. Respite. That's what I meant to say. So and so some years we have a dry year, and when we have a dry year, oh man, those are the most brutal. We had a few years ago, we were having a few dry years, and basically we had no rainy season, and it was just so hot, and it was just crazy hot all the way up until around September, October. But now, since we got the rainy season, that helps it cool down. So every time that we get rain, especially now, from here going forward, as each rain cycle comes through, or each rain band or whatever comes through, it keeps cooling down. Again, cooling down for the Yucatan. Again, I know for some people it still might be very hot. All right, so again, the best time of the year for you to come to experience the most brutal, intense heat would be the spring. Now, the mildest time of the year is winter. So if you just want to come out here during the nicest time of the year, come out during winter. All right, so Hopefully that helps answer your question. Fernando Garcia Romo says, what do I think about Querétaro? I really don't have any opinions over Querétaro. I've never been there before, so I've never visited. I have no idea. I hope to visit at some point in the future, but as of now, I really don't have any opinion towards Querétaro because I've never been there. But I heard wonderful things. I heard nice things about it. So let me see. We got Teresa Ocampo says, I will search your content, but can you recommend a good dentist I can see when I come to visit? I will be paying out of pocket. Yes, I do have a great dentist. In fact, he's a family friend, for the, for lack of a better description here. In fact, it's on my website. I'll show you exactly where it's at. So, oh, wrong button. Okay, so you go to my website, okay, see on my website, and right here where it says Living in Merida, Yucatan, helpful resources, you click there, okay, and you're gonna find again Jose Novello, right on the top, he's talking about housing, and you got all kinds of other useful information, such as if you need a personal assistant, if you need veterinary and grooming services, if you need glasses, as you guys can see, I wear glasses. So again, I just literally did a video updating the video I did with him years ago. But anyways, you can watch that video. You can see exactly where I get my glasses and where you can get your glasses. And for dentist, again, I got to do an updated video. You beat me to it because I was going to do this updated video in a few more weeks or whatever. But I'm going to be doing an updated video with Hansel. And long story short, you can watch that video, get the information from that video or right there from the website, and you can reach out to them. Reach out to him, and he'll be more than happy to help you out. In fact, a Christian just visited him recently, and like I said, I'm waiting for my visit, so because I'm gonna go do another video with him. All right, to update this video. All right, so long story short, you can check out there. I gotta update this other video I did with Jose. But again, got Jose, we got my barber, we got all restaurants, all kinds of awesome things. Okay, so please, check out my website for more information. And again, if you need a dentist, he's right there on my website. Check him out. All right. So let's see more questions. By the way, so again, guys, today, we're celebrating my birthday. We're also celebrating Mexico's birthday. We're also celebrating Lambo's belated birthday. His birthday's in August. And so we're triple threat today. All right. We're all working on our birthdays for you. All right. And but again, what we're going to be doing today is answering questions, so please, any questions you have, feel free to ask them. All right. And we will answer them to the best of our abilities. So, but anyway, shout out to everyone out there. So this video that you're watching is a video that I have on my homepage of my YouTube channel. If you've not subscribed to the channel yet, this is the video you're gonna, you would watch or you would see immediately. And it's a video I did several years ago. At the end of the year, just kind of like talking about, my life out here in Mexico, and I always kind of like to put it on for you guys because it's almost like my greatest hits or just a bunch of snippets of me throughout the years. We got shout out to David up there, a really, really awesome friend of mine, of the families, of the shows. As you guys already know, he's he was in a video recently when we went out to I forgot what pueblo we went to, but we went to see the balloons. The balloon festival, remember that? The paper balloon festival. So that was fun. So shout out to David, huge contributor to the show, huge friend of the show, and I've known him for a very long time as well. I think 6 years, I want to say. So, Travel Girl says, "Hey Jose, how can I send you a super chat? I keep getting an error message." Honestly, I have no idea how it works. I wish I could help you, you know what I mean? But like, I think, you got to push a little $sign and then it gives you a prompt as to what to do. I'm sorry. I wish I knew more. I don't know what goes on your end of the YouTubes. For some people, it's more difficult than others to send a super chat. But I do have, again, if you want to support the show, again, thank you so much, Travel Girl. I really appreciate it. But again, if you want to support the show, another way that you can support the show is you can just go to my website, and on my website where it says help support the show. Oh, man, I thought I was showing you guys. Ay. 1 second. Bruh. Man, my brain's already on vacation mode. Anyways, on my website, right here at the top, right above my head, says support the show. And you can help support the show various ways. So for example, you can PayPal, you can Cash App, you can join the Patreon, you can buy me a coffee / beer. You can even send me Bitcoin. I have a store, had a store, but I got to get a new store up and running because that store was not sending the t-shirts out, and it was causing more problems than it was actually helping. So I had to get rid of the store, and I'm working on building a brand new store. Again, as you guys know, it's just me and Lambo here, working on all this stuff. So, so Lambo's not the greatest at building websites. I am. So I gotta, like I said, I'm in the process of building a brand new one. I'm working as fast as I can for the holiday season, so you guys can, get some T-shirts and all kinds of cool stuff. All right. So, but anyways, thank you so much for all the well wishes. Thank you so much for all the, the donations. Thank you so much for the birthday gifts. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for all the love and support throughout the years. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys more than you could ever imagine. But anyways, Travel Girl, you can try that. If you do it that way, I'll get a notification on my phone. I'll let everyone know, that you sent the donation. Or like I said, just try and figure out the super chat thing. But I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I could be more help, with the super chat thing. My apologies. But anyways, let me see. Let me see if we got any more questions. Oh, thanks for visit B Applesauce says happy birthday. Thanks for taking the time to answer questions today. Oh, anytime. That's what I'm here for. Like I said, it might be Thursday. I'm sorry, it might be my birthday, but it's still Thursday. That means it's live stream day and it's during the week, I mean, I gotta work. Honestly, this whole week, what I've been doing is I've actually taken the week off for the most part. It's very difficult for me because it's like, when I'm not working, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I'm just here twiddling my thumbs for the most part, so, and my wife is always, basically, that's my wife right there, by the way. My wife is always, kind of like, begging me and not forcing me, but trying to get me to take some time off, to just relax more, to chill out, whatever. But whatever, man. It's difficult because like I literally love what I do. I really love all these things that I do as it pertains to making videos and making content and things like that. So it's hard for me to just turn it off. And then when I turn it off, well, what am I gonna do? Now, obviously, I do have things to do. There's always something to do around the house. And in this case, obviously spend more time with the wife, spend more time with the dog. With both of them, just spend time with the family and all that good stuff. I'll take some time to celebrate my birthday like I'm going to be doing this weekend and so on and so forth. In fact, the celebration starts immediately as soon as I'm done here with you guys. So I really appreciate that. Somebody sent me a $10 super chat, or somebody sent me $10 through PayPal. I don't know who you are out there. I mean, I got your name, but I don't know if you want me to say your name or not. Oh, you did. Okay. Thank you, Travel Girl. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, $10 PayPal. Muchas gracias. All right. I will, you will remain anonymous. Don't worry about it. Travel Girl. Shout out to Travel Girl. Muchas gracias for the beautiful donation. So we got $10 from Travel Girl, and we also got, who else we got? We got D-Mal with the $20. We got Terry Wright with the $20, and we got Cats with the $20. Thank you all so much. Making this the best birthday since the last birthday. That's right. I love you guys. Appreciate it. Bruh. By the way, I don't know how some of you guys feel about birthdays. It is funny because I got all kinds of friends and family, and like most people, they just do not like getting older. They really don't. I don't know. They just don't like birthdays or whatever. For me personally, I wasn't a big birthday celebrator until I moved to Mexico, but I never really hated my birthday. I've always appreciated getting older. Having more experience. Just everything that comes with age, I appreciate it. There's certain things that we don't like from getting older, obviously, like health reasons, health concerns, we're just not the same. we're not the same at 44 than we were at 34 or 24, right? But other than that, meaning, I can't drink as much or eat as many tacos or whatever it is. There's certain things I just can't do that I would normally, be doing when I was younger. But I mean, for the most part, I really love and appreciate getting older each and every day, each year that passes by, and it's amazing, especially looking back. At least for me, I got the videos, and I can always look back at everything that I've done in the last year, in the last 5 years, in the last decade, in the last 15 years, and so that really even that adds even more perspective to getting older, and really does help a lot. Look, there you go. That's me and Christian when we got married, January of 2020. How crazy is that? How time flies. It is really kind of crazy. Look at that. And we got married. I think with when we only knew each other 9 months. So we were only dating for like 9 months when we got married. So how crazy is that? And then look, this is the mural that Christian painted in that building that doesn't exist anymore. That was a long time ago. That was probably like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Yeah, man. Yeah, Terry Wright, I agree with you. I'm in the same boat. Terry Wright says he's growing older, but not growing up. Yeah, I same thing. I mean, I am not trying to grow up at all. I'm trying to remain the same as I've always been. Immature and just a big dumb idiot that just happens to be getting older. Look, I mean, when I graduated high school, I was supposed to be, I was supposed to, what is it, be a lawyer, be a doctor. I had all the grades, I had scholarships, I had everything. And at the end of the day, I realized that that would require me to grow up, in one shape, form, or another. And I was already working in the restaurant industry, and I saw plenty of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s that never grew up, and that's the life that they chose. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna continue with this career path. Now, granted, it did not give me the money that I always wanted, out of my career, but it gave me all the life experiences and just experiences in general that are just, you can't, the no price on them. All the experiences, all the things that I've done with my life, the way I look at it, they're priceless. And a lot of them only took place by me making that decision over and over again to put life and experiences and just living life as a priority as opposed to making money. Again, I know making money is a very important thing, and I'm not, denying that fact. We all need to make money to earn a living, to pay for bills, to live in this world, in this, modern world that we live in today. We all have to, work and make money. But with that said, again, I work to pay for my bills. That's it. You know what I mean? I wake up every day to live my life, not to work, that kind of thing. And so that's why for me, even turning it off, just taking a break during my birthday or during the holidays, sometimes, taking a break is sometimes it is hard for me, even though I need it. Trust me, this week of taking it easy and not really, doing all the work that I normally do has really helped a lot because, again, we all got to rest whether we want to or not. But other than that, what I mean? Like, this is why I've always chosen to do something that I love, whether it was cooking or making videos or whatever it is. And I would willingly choose to leave money on the table, simply because, again, it would bring me the life that I always wanted in one shape, form, or another. So yeah, right now I am living my dream life, and a lot of you guys out there in the audience, might even look at me like, "Damn, Jose, I want to live just like you." But again, the monkey wrench, the kicker here is that not everybody is willing to do what I've done in order to live the life that I've lived. Now, again, I know a lot of you guys have done more than what I've done. You guys out there, that are more prepared or more willing to do the things that I've done or do. So it's a moot point. Also, I know there's a lot of people in the audience, with a lot of different lives, different career paths, different career choices, whatever. Some of you guys, have what you call it, better, outcome, when it came to your career, to the amount of money you make, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, what it boils down to is quality of life. And, that's something that I've always kind of put a priority on, since day one. And, it's, and again, I've had my ups and downs, but at the end of the day, man, I would do it all over again. I would not ever, trade anything that I've done, and no regrets, as the saying goes. You know what I mean? No regrets. Even the things that I do regret, no regrets. You know why? Because simply put, I mean, whatever errors that one has done in the past, that's either made you grow, giving you some experience, giving you some sort of memory, something. There's always something, some benefit, some sort of something you can get out of no matter what the situation is, good, bad, ugly, in between, whatever. So anyways, all right, sorry, went off on a rant there. All right, let me read some more comments, and again, questions. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. Real Life with Anthony says, HDB, and to many more. Oh, happy birthday, and to many more, muchachos. Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Kat says, I'm allergic to perfumes. Do Uber drivers use air fresheners when they drive? Is it okay to ask to lower the window? I mean, look, I don't like perfume either. Okay, I'm not allergic, but I'm not a fan. And it happens. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do about it. Some Uber drivers, might have a little bit too much perfume. Some Uber drivers might have a little bit too much air freshener in the car. Hey, some Uber drivers might stink. They might smell like tacos, because the previous person that they were dropping off probably had tacos with them or whatever. I don't know. So it's pretty random, kind of like in the USA. Of course, you can simply say, hey, can you turn the air conditioner off? Can you roll the windows down? I mean, obviously, don't insult them and say, hey, your perfume is too much. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. But, there's many ways to go about it. And, for the most part, yeah, they'll be more than happy to turn the air conditioner off because that costs money and roll the windows down. And that's it. So you just simply say, hey, can you roll the windows down? I'm a little too cold in here. Or you can just say, it's like, hey, I want to breathe, some of the fresh air, whatever. Don't worry about it. It shouldn't be that big a deal. But you can't get away from it. It just happens. It's random. You might be, sitting at a taco stand right there on the street, eating your tacos, and some dude, that just poured a whole bottle of cologne on himself, to go on a date, walks by and makes you want to gag. I mean, it happens, Like, trust me, like, it is what it is. And especially the perfume that they use out here, it's one of those things. It's funny because it's almost like a running joke. They almost use like the same perfume, the same kind of guy, same kind of person uses the same perfume. Sometimes the ladies, like an older lady, you know what I mean? Like anyways, they're the ones that put like a bottle of perfume on each other. But hey, it is what it is. You can't really get away from it. All you can really, I mean, you can kind of get away from it, but I mean, you can't really do much about it. It is a free country after all. But again, you're not forced to smell it if you don't want to either. There's ways that you can get away from it. So, hopefully that helps answer your question. I'm sorry if I don't have a whole concrete answer there. Let me see. Dalinda Perez says, Dalinda says, what are your goals for the next year? Personal or business? Well, I mean, right now it's still too early. It's September. You know what I mean? So, I really don't go over that. Or I really don't even start thinking about that till the end of the year. Why? Well, because it's September. We still got September, October, November, December. I still got a bunch of things that I want to finish and I want to do before the end of the year. Depending on how far down the list I get, how many things I get done, throughout the end of this year, will depend on what I got on my docket for the next year. But again, as you guys know, being a Virgo, because that's my astrological sign, we're very orderly, and I got like all kinds of calendars and notes and all kinds of things. So as of right now, I'm trying to finish off this year, and then by the time next year rolls around, I'll have a brand new set of things that I'm gonna do. or get done or accomplished or whatever. So one of the things that I do want to do next year is get my Mexican citizenship. So that'll be on the docket for next year. So, but and then do some more traveling. This year we couldn't do traveling because we had the big move, that we were doing. We still might do some traveling towards the end of the year. It all depends on the funds. How many, how well we do. The next few months when it comes to revenue on the channel. But again, hopefully we will be able to do one trip before this end of the year. Maybe to Querétaro, who knows, right? But with that said, yeah, I still got things I want to finish off this year, and then starting off next year, we'll see. Depends on how far I get down the list. I mean, I've accomplished just about everything, but still, it's still too early. We still got 3-4 months to go. Travel Girl says. Okay, Travel Girl's talking. Okay, Joseph says, I don't celebrate my birthday, but it's not because I hate getting older. It's because it's childish. Get it? I mean, yeah, I get it. That's why I celebrate it, because it's a wonderful and perfect reason to have fun, to get childish, to get dumb, to have a few drinks with some friends, party, whatever. Look, I'll be honest with you. When I lived in the USA, the last thing I wanted to do was celebrate my birthday. It's like I don't got time, I don't got money, I don't got desire. I don't got any of these things to celebrate my birthday. I mean, come on. I got to get to work. I got this. I got para piri puru para. All right. During the holidays, Christmas and stuff like that is a little different because, well, everybody's celebrating. So it's like, it's kind of like hard not to get into the spirit of things. But when I moved to Mexico and I saw how important, it is to not just celebrate a birthday, but to celebrate life and to celebrate so many things. And then having a wonderful wife that obviously that makes a huge difference and plays a big part in wanting to celebrate my birthday. Well, then yeah, I love celebrating my birthday. I remember the first few years, Christian would get me piñatas. I love piñatas, and so we would do piñatas and we would celebrate. Where we had our own little thing, and then we had a bigger party with friends and stuff like that. But the same thing. This year, we're having a little something tonight. Tomorrow I'm getting together with some friends. Saturday, I got the football game. Sunday is just, trying to wind down so that I can get back to work starting the next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, I mean, I've been kind of like partying, throughout the week. And by partying, meaning, just resting, taking time off, enjoying, smelling the flowers, all that stuff, and not just working, actually taking some time to just relax, give me time to, like, I don't know, just sit back and watch a movie or something, something that I would normally never do because I'd just, that to me is a bigger waste of time than whatever. But again, we all have to have some rest and relaxation, whether we want to or not. We gotta, whatever that R&R is, everyone has a different version of rest and relaxation. But anywho's, so with that said, yeah, I mean, ever since I've been in Mexico, I celebrate my birthday every year. I mean, it's just a thing. Everybody celebrates their birthdays here. It's a big thing. It's a big event. And this year, look, honestly, I mean, the reason I'm just getting together with my friends tomorrow is because that's what I want to do. I really just wanted to take it easy this week, and this birthday, because I mean, I'm always, partying and doing stuff. In fact, out here in Mexico, we're always doing something. And this year, we've been doing a lot of celebrations, a lot of people, with a lot of parties, a lot of everything. So it's like, I really don't feel like a big party. I really don't feel like anything. I just want to hang out with the boys, have some drinks, get drunk, talk some football, talk some crap, and throw some meat on the grill. You know how it is. And that's about it. So, but that's what I want to do this year. But that's only because, I've already been celebrating and doing a bunch of stuff throughout the week and throughout the last few months. So yeah, you know what I mean? I forgot I already know what the question was. I forgot. Oh yeah, Joseph was just talking about like the celebration. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, honestly, now that I live in Mexico, man, not only do I celebrate my birthday and like look forward to celebrating my birthday, but I look forward to celebrating anything and everything all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's just such a different vibe, and when you're in a different state of mind, obviously you want to celebrate and have a good time all the time. I mean, in this video, how many times have you seen me celebrating this video alone, right? But like I said, in the USA, Ah, man, no, man. I felt just like how you feel right now, Joseph. I totally understand. Anyways, Travel Girl says, QQQ. I'm guessing that's a question. When I was in Merida, I always saw this strange lady walking around downtown, sometimes on Paseo Montejo. She is obviously homeless. Have you ever seen her? No, I haven't seen her. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It could be various women. Look, that woman right there. She could probably be that woman you're talking about. I mean, yeah, there are people that are kind of homeless. Very rare compared to what in the USA, where you see so many homeless people and so many people on the street. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know who that is. I haven't particularly seen that person, so my apologies. Um, A3 says, what city will be the Dubai of Mexico? La Paz? I don't know about that. I mean, look, I've never been to La Paz, but La Paz, from my understanding, it's just a small little beach town. And Dubai is Dubai. So I don't know. I mean, if you're, I've never been to Dubai, so I don't know. But if you're thinking of a giant city that is very technologically advanced and has all the bells and whistles and then some and yada yada yada, I would say Guadalajara. Guadalajara, from the cities that I visited in Mexico, Guadalajara might be Dubai, I guess. I don't know. I've never been to Dubai, so I have no idea. So I don't know. Anyway, all right, let me see. Melissa, happy birthday. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Teresa Ocampo says, have you ever been to Puerto Morelos? I have not been to Puerto Morelos yet. But maybe in the future I will. I keep having people invite me to go out there to those areas. But again, I have no real way to get out there. It's expensive. I mean, for me, it's expensive to just go out there, you know, to do a video or to visit somebody or what have you. So I haven't really gone out there, have the need to go out there since I live on just the other side of the coast. So I live in kind of like the same whatever. But hopefully one day I'll go out there, so you never know. So when I do, I'll let you guys know. That's for sure. Shout out to Hanson out there. Shout out to you, brother. My brother from another mother. That's right. Shout out to Senor Hanson out there. That's right. He says, see, Hanson is a world traveler. He is definitely a globalist, as the kids say these days. So, what was I going to say? And he says that Dubai, I mean, the closest thing to Dubai, in Mexico would be Baja Blast. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't that the Taco Bell? Anyways.
Bruh.
In fact, Baja Blast is going to be me later tonight. Or tomorrow morning, actually. Whatever. Never mind. Too much information.
Bruh.
Baja Blast is what happens to me when I have one too many fish tacos, all right? Oh, look at that. You got shout out to Mr. Tim. Shout out to Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hold on a second. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. All right, and we got Mr. Hansen out there. So we got Tim with the $10, and then we got Mr. Hansen out there with the $50 super chat. Thank you guys both so much. You guys are the best. Oh man, appreciate it. So thank you. You guys are making it rain. PayPal, Cash App. What else? Someone just bought me a beer. Yeah, that's what it was. Tim with the Tim Johnson or whatever. Anyways, thank you so much. And we got Mr. Hansen out there. Muchas gracias out there. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys coming in very big. Best birthday ever. For sure. At least the best birthday I've had this year. 100%. Guaranteed. So thank you guys so much. We got the GOAT coming in. Shout out to the GOAT. Anyways, all right. Let me see. What other comments or questions we have? Delinda says, even the birthday song is in Spanish, Las Mañanitas, makes you feel special and appreciated. Mexicans seem to value life and unity. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah, the whole birthday thing is such an awesome experience out here. I mean, I've had an amazing day already. Like I said, Christian is out at the market, like literally, right? Like what she's doing right now in the video, she's out there doing now. You're getting a few supplies, for the birthday celebration tonight, and so on and so forth. She's making me, dinner. She's making me some mole, one of my favorite things, and yeah, so on and so forth. And I think she might be back. I think I just heard her. So shout out to her. Travel Girl says, oh wait, Atres says, when's Mexico's basketball season start? I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, I know they have to play basketball here. I'm sure they do. But it's not like a thing here like it's in the USA. The sports that they love out here are soccer, baseball, and drum roll please, football, American football. Yeah, that's right. They love American football out here. Hold on a second. Let's make sure Christian's here. All right, yeah, she's here. She's here. Yeah, because I was hearing some noise out front. I was like, make sure it's her. Make sure it's her, and not you know, some raccoon or what have you. But anyways, what was I saying? What was the question I was asking? Yeah, so I don't know. There's no basketball season now. There is an American Football League. So Mexico has a professional American Football League, and Guadalajara, Monterrey, Mexico City. There's a few places that have American football teams, and they have a league. They got a whole thing. In fact, for anyone that cares about this, for the NFL, is looking for to expand, and they want to add teams. They might add a team to Canada, but they definitely want to add a team to Mexico. All right. And the first team might be Monterrey, which is close to the border, right, really close to Texas there. So the first professional NFL team, to be outside of the USA might be Mexico, believe it or not. All right. So that's in the works. So they love American football here. They love soccer, AKA original football, right? And they love baseball. Baseball is a big thing out here. But basketball, not so much. In fact, they love the T-Wolves. They love the T-Wolves out here for some odd reason. It's a joke. It's a joke. My friend out there. Anyways, shout out to my friend, big T-Wolves fan. We got Terry Wright saying, I have seen my video on herb legalization, but you didn't address growing herbs. Do you just keep growing on the DL? Are there any penalties? Well, look, the reality is that things have changed. With the brand new president that Mexico got, a lot of people thought that she was going to push the legislation forward and finally get over that hump and make it all legal. But what's actually happened since she's become president is that everything has been rolled back and gone backwards. So I got to make a new video on it, but I'm just going to wait till next year at this point. But long story short, yeah, no, it's like you can't grow, you can't do anything these days. Now, obviously, a lot of people, still partake and they still enjoy it, and it's all over the place. But yeah, no, it's like they've gone backwards, So yeah, the whole legalization has gone backwards. So I really cannot comment on anything right now, because no matter what I say, it's probably going to be illegal, according to the new president and the new legislation and everything going on right now. So yeah, right now it's like, you can get it, you can find it, you can partake in it, but at your own risk. Okay, I cannot recommend anything at all. You know what I mean? Like you have to kind of like use your own noggin there and figure it out. All right. So my apologies for not being able to really provide much more information on that topic, especially on a live stream, especially right now. Because again, as you guys know, there's a lot of censorship and there's a lot of stuff going on out there. So I don't want to be saying the wrong thing and misrepresenting the actual information that's out there. So we got Bobby and Angelina says, we just sold our home and we will be on our way to Mexico very soon. Awesome. Congratulations. Woo! Hold on. Here we go. Congratulations. Travel Girl says, Jose, which areas of Merida are prone to flooding during the rainy season? Look, honestly, at this point, almost none. They've already fixed most of the infrastructure to, delegate to what is it to just deal with that situation. What happened was that, like, basically several years ago, during 2020 and 2021, we had an unseasonably extremely rainy season. And during those years of 2020, 2021, we got excessive rain and there was excessive flooding in certain areas. And most of those areas were way up north in the area called Las Americas, fraccionamiento, the neighborhoods of Las Americas. That's it. And certain areas in the north. All right. But since then, we have not gotten any insane amount of rain. Since then, all the infrastructure has been updated, redone, refixed, whatever. All the new construction all over the city. There's tons of new construction all over the city. They've also taken all that into account and built, to avoid flooding. Even this new house that we have here, they built it a little higher, and so we get flooding here, because again, just the way that the earth is, in this particular area. But again, the house never floods. The street floods, for a few hours. When all the rain comes down at once, because again, if you can never experience the rain out here, it's hard to describe. But long story short, yeah, when it rains a lot, like cats and dogs, and I'm getting like a bucket of rain within an hour, then yeah, it's gonna flood in front of my house. But I got a storm drain right in front of my house, and like I said, within an hour or two, all that water dissipates. And the same thing happens, most of the city. The areas that do flood, no matter what, like I said, are like the area of Las Americas, certain little spots in the north, the older areas. And Ed Centro. Ed Centro, you got to remember, Ed Centro, a lot of the infrastructure there, is like 500 years old. And as much as they try to upgrade the grid there, upgrade the sewer system, upgrade many things, there's only so much they can do, without damaging the historical buildings or this or that, so much going on there. So Ed Centro would be, but again, in Ed Centro, Centro. Like literally, you know what I mean? Like in the center, in certain spots. But it's not that bad. Again, this year we've got a lot of rain. So this year has been a rainy season, an extra wet rainy season. Again, nothing like 2020 and 2021, but an extra wet rainy season. And yeah, long story short, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? It's not anything that, again, if you're from Florida or you're from certain areas where you do get a lot of rain or similar weather or similar, kind of situation as you have out here, then yeah, you know what I mean? Like, nothing that you haven't seen before. My suggestion is that, you before you buy a house or, you do anything like that, is to try to research the area, as much as possible. And what do I mean by researching the area? Well, again, you got to research, basically, the things that you would have to look into are, do you have a drainage system, or do you have multiple drainage systems on your block in your area? Are those drains clean? Do the neighbors keep it clean or not? There's many things. Sometimes when we moved here, we had no idea. There's only so much research we could do. It wasn't until we started getting the first few rains and we started to see it flooding that we started to be like, oh. But again, until the rain stops, or again, until like the drain starts to drain, and then you realize, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. Not a big problem. It's just, it is what it is. It's just part of living out here. But again, look, you can even see it there in the video. Here, let me pause it real quick, but you can see it in the video. Look at, for example, look at like the streets, how they're built. Okay, so right above my head, okay, you can kind of make out how you see that, the houses are built on a large foundation. You got to walk up several steps to get to the house. Why is that? Well, again, these homes were built hundreds of years ago, okay, or whatever, a long time ago, and they've always had rainy seasons, some more than others. And so long story short, when it gets really, 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 really rainy, well, very rarely is it going to flood the houses, because again, they're built on such a high foundation. Look at the church. Look where the church is built. Look how high, okay, above the ground it's built. So that's definitely not going to flood. All right. And if it, like if all the rain that comes down there, you see it's angled and it angles down. So like that's the thing. Living in this area of, again, the Yucatan, an area that rains a lot, it's a jungle. You could have flooding problems and things like that. There's a lot of things that you have to look into and a lot of things that you got to work on. So, for example, one thing that I got to deal with every day out here is that I got to make sure that the drains, right by my house are clean because I don't have many neighbors around where I live at the moment. I mean, I got neighbors, but what I'm saying is that, the drains that are close to my property, they're my responsibility. I don't have to clean them. But if I don't clean them, then obviously it's going to increase the chances that the water's not going to drain and it's just going to keep accumulating. But if I'm constantly keeping an eye on them, well, I don't got a problem. It's always going to drain at some point. So that's the thing. I mean, it's a tricky question. I wish I had a map. I wish I could just tell you, avoid this area, avoid that neighborhood, avoid this. But the thing is, it's just that there's so many things in play and things are very different. How they were 10 years ago to how they were 7 years ago to how they were 5 years ago to how they are right now. And so right now, yeah, no, like it does not flood as much as it used to flood back in the day. And even though this year we had a very rainy season, it's still flood. Now, when it comes to flooding, again, you got to remember living in the tropics. A lot of times, like I literally, like I was telling you earlier, I was not being sarcastic or whatever. When it rains, like it can rain, all of a sudden it's blue skies, and within 15 minutes you get dark skies, and then it starts to rain buckets of water, and literally it'll fill a giant bucket, like a giant bucket of water, like a 5-gallon bucket of water, halfway or all the way within an hour or two of rain. Okay. And for some people, they might not be used to that amount of rain coming down at once. And so what's going to happen is that, yeah, it's going to flood the streets. It might flood your yard. It might flood, it will flood certain areas. And if you're walking, well, you're probably going to get stuck in one of those puddles. If you're on your bike, you're going to get stuck in the rain like it, happens to me from time to time. That's one of the things that sucks sometimes about being on the bike is the rain and the puddles and things like that. But again, it's only the reason that happens is just like, again, imagine dumping a giant bucket of water in your sink or in your bathtub. It's going to take a little while, for that water to go down the drain because you got a small little drain, okay? And you have, a giant bucket of water that fell down. So it's the same thing here. You know what I mean? That happens. You'll get like a giant bucket of rain that's dropped on your head, and then all these little drains all over the city have to suck it up. The ground has to suck it up. The sewer system has to suck it up and all that. And that takes a little time. So, sometimes it sucks, because it'll start raining and then it floods. And it's like, oh man, I got to wait, until the water goes down a little bit for me to go out. Or, just, tread the waters. It is what it is. So hopefully that helps answer your question. D Mouse says, do I have any fun plans for my birthday? Yeah, I got tons of fun plans. I've been celebrating throughout the week. Tonight, I'm going to be celebrating, with the wife. We're going to be watching football. Tomorrow, we're going to be celebrating with some friends. Saturday, we got football, more friends. And then Sunday, kind of trying to take it easy. But yeah, tons of celebration. In fact, the celebration starts as soon as I'm done with you guys here. So, by the way, I'm sorry, I spent so much time answering that question. I think I missed some of your questions. By the way, if you have any questions that I didn't get to, I didn't answer, just ask it again. All right, I'm going to try and answer all the questions, okay? Kat says, do you need to learn Mexican national anthem as part of the citizenship program? I have no idea. I don't know. But all I know is that in order to get your Mexican citizenship, it's very similar like getting your U.S. citizenship. So I got to learn, first of all, I got to know Spanish. Thank God that's not an issue. I know Spanish, but I do need to learn Mexican history. I do got to learn some Mexican things. I'm thinking just like in the USA, if you're going to be taking the test for your U.S. citizenship and you got to know who George Washington is and you got to know about, whatever they ask you on, the citizenship thing. It's the same thing here. Oh, sorry. My apologies. I know I left it frozen there. But yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, with the citizenship, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't even looked at it yet, but I know I got to study. I know I got to do some things, and it's not easy. It's a pain in the butt. All right, because I was trying to do it this year, but like I said, I realized I wasn't going to be able to do it this year, so it's literally the first thing on my list on my docket for 2026. All right. Um, Let me see more questions. Let me see. We got more questions. Atres says, you need to know the difference between mezcal and tequila for the citizens test. Yes. Yes, that is correct. You need to know things, very important things like, what is tequila? What is mezcal? They give you samplings, you got to sample, anyways. That would be awesome, by the way.
Bruh.
Nothing about a hound dog says there is a pro basketball league in Mexico, and they are part of the NBA. It's called the LNBP. Oh, okay, cool. I had no idea. They're probably associated with the WNBA, right? Right? Hello. Is this on?
Bruh.
Anyways, so. David, shout out to David, says, hola, Jose, feliz cumpleaños. Give Christian a hug, and that way you'll get one back. Oh, of course. I'm always looking for hugs. Anyways, hard to root for the Finns this year. Ah, my gosh. Actually, I'm not going to lie. So, again, the football game I'm watching tonight is I'm going to watch the Dolphins get creamed, get, destroyed by the Buffalo Bills. So, I'm actually going in with very low expectations. The first game of the season had me laughing my ass off. Last week, gave me false hope, which got me upset. This week, I already know we're going to get our asses kicked. So, I'm going in there, with a smile on my face. And just, again, I'm hoping that we lose all the games and we get rid of everybody and we get to start from scratch next year. So that's my hope for this year. So, it would only be fitting to lose by 50 points. Now, of course, if we beat the Bills, even by 1 point, I'll take it. I'll take it all day, every day. But, I mean, come on. Give me a break. I mean, most likely we're going to get our asses kicked, all right? So that's what I'm looking forward to this tonight. So, obviously, I'm going to have a lot of libations, in order to really enjoy the game. But, like I said, I enjoyed week one. I was laughing so hard because we were playing so bad. The Dolphins were playing so bad. It was shocking to me how bad they were playing. So I'm expecting more of that tonight. So hopefully it'll be a great time. So, Chris Titus says, I cannot believe I've been watching your channel for 4 years now. Great info on Mexico. Keep up the great work, my friend. Oh, well, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate you. And I'm glad that I was been able to help you out, throughout this time. So muchas gracias. Shout out to you. Thank you. Oh, we got a $5 super chat. We got Kel with a €5, right? €5 super chat. Muchas gracias. 5 euros is like $50, right? So thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, but that's how much the dollar's lost value. I'm not saying that the euro's doing any better, but anyway, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Reylos is the best baseball team. Yeah, I guess. You know what I mean? It's all about Los Leones de Yucatan. That's right. Anyways. Yeah, I'm not. I love baseball, but I'm a Marlins fan, all right? A Florida Marlins fan. I thought we were going to do something this year until we, became the Marlins again. And then we just, we stunk it up. But yeah, I mean, I've been to a few Leones games. The Leones of Yucatan is the local team. It's funny because some people ask, is like, why is the local baseball team called the Lions? There's no lions in the Yucatan. And that is correct. But from my understanding, I think that the Leones, they used to be owned by a beer company. I think a local beer company. And I think the local beer company is the one that named them that. I don't know. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Not really sure. Oh, British pound. All right. Awesome. Thank you. That's right. Thank you for the 5 British pounds, which is like around $50 US, give or take, right? Give or take. So thank you. Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much. And I appreciate all the super chats as well. We got, again, we got $50 from Mr. Hansen out on the Cash App. We got $10, from 2 beers from Mr. Tim. They bought me a beer. We got Travel Girl. They gave me $10 on PayPal. We got, who else we got? We got Kel with the $5. We got Terry Wright with the $20. D Mal with the $20. And Cats with the $20. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys making this the best birthday since the last birthday. No, seriously. Best birthday I've had all year. Guaranteed. That's bar none, without even questioning it. Let's do a little dancing. Let's do a little dancing to. Hold on a second.
It's your birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Glad I was able to answer your questions. By the way, guys, if you guys have any more questions, go on ahead and ask them now before I head out of here. At least you're not a Browns fan. Man, don't even get me started. The Dolphins are doing worse than the Browns, okay? The Browns have made the playoffs multiple times. The Browns have made the playoffs multiple times. And the last time that the Dolphins made the playoffs, literally the last time that the Dolphins made the playoffs was like 25, 26 years ago. And the Browns have made the playoffs multiple times since then. All right. And even won a game, I think. I think you guys even won in the playoffs. All right. So I understand, suffering with the Browns. There's a lot of teams out there that suffer. But I mean, honestly, as crazy as it sounds, the Miami Dolphins have literally been the worst team in this century, in the century of the 2000s. So 25 plus years of infertility. It's been terrible. Geo Trav says, do you have e-bike stores recommendations in Merida? I mean, there are e-bike stores all over the place. I purchased and my wife purchased a Honey Whale, but we got ours online, even though they have stores out here. So I recommend the Honey Whale. I put it in the chat. I recommend Honey Whale. They're great. They're wonderful. But, there's a lot of brands out there, and, a lot of people swear by them that they're great. So, but I guess if I were to recommend somebody, it would just be Honey Whale. Teresa Campos says, did I get my bike back from getting fixed? Yes, I got my bike back. I actually didn't take it to the shop. I was about to take it to the shop that day that I was filming. I was going to take it to the shop, but it got fixed on its own. It was having brake problems, and I realized it was just because, again, going back to rain, the brakes got wet. I had to change the brakes, so I changed the brakes on my own. I was able to kind of fix it on my own, but the brakes are, they soaked up humidity and water, so I think that's what was causing the issue. But for now, it seems that everything's fixed. I might still have to take it to the shop, but we'll pursue that as the time comes. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But so far, so good. It seems like the bike is all good. It was just having some brake problems. And again, I'm pretty sure after everything that I've done with the bike, trying to fix it, that it's just the rain and humidity out there. But regardless, I'm going to take it to a shop at some point. The brakes are working fine. Everything's working fine. The only thing that was going wrong with the bike is that every time I would brake, it would make a large screeching sound, like a big, noise. And if I'm going to be taking the bike, to record some videos, you're not going to be able to hear my voice, or you'll be able to hear my voice, but from time to time, you'll hear like a giant screeching sound, which, will probably blow one of your speakers or worse. All right. So, I was trying to avoid that. So like I said, I think for now, knock on wood, we're good to go. So we'll play it by ear. Again, if I have to take it to the shop, I'll probably take you guys with me to the shop. All right. So anyways, but go Bucks. All right. Terry Rice says, go Bucks. Yeah. By the way, yes, I am watching the Tampa Bay Bucks. I am a big fan of Mayfield. I got another friend out there that's also a Bucks fan, and yeah, man, I think I watch the Bucks more than they do sometimes, because I'm a big Mayfield fan, and I mean, come on, when Brady was out there, that was awesome as well. So, and that's one of the teams that I've been kind of like having to root for throughout the years, especially when the Dolphins have sucked and Tampa Bay has been amazing. So, it is what it is. So, yeah, at least I got the Bucks to look forward to, and at least I get to watch the Bucks. But hey, at the end of the day, I was born and raised in Miami, so unfortunately, I gotta die, with the Dolphins hat on, So it is what it is. So not much we can do there. Chris Titus says, okay, here's the question. How many years young are you today? Oh, fellow Virgo, I am 44. I just turned 44 today. So shout out to me. I hit the big 4-4. I don't feel 44. Well, I kind of do sometimes, when when you wake up in the morning and sometimes your bones ache or your back aches or your knee hurts or whatever it is, certain things like that, or you had one too many tacos the night before, that's when you realize you're getting old. But other than that, I don't really feel old. I feel young. I feel great. Young is age is but a number. In fact, I used to say this all the time. Back when I was working in the kitchen, back when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I felt like my body was more deteriorated than it is now. All right. So my body was in way worse shape working, 12-hour days in the kitchen in my late 20s and early 30s than it is today. So, whatever, so I guess that also helps me with keeping the young mentality and all that good stuff. So, oh, awesome. Yeah, I got more bike tours coming up. I love riding my bike. Like I said, I was going to do some videos this week, for next week. But again, the wife has basically, tied my leash to the house, to not allow me to leave and kind of relax a bit. So it is what it is. But I might escape tomorrow and film some videos, right? We'll just see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see how tonight goes. All right. Let's see how I feel tomorrow morning when I wake up. Let me see. Teresa says, do you have to get reservations for nice restaurants in El Centro? I mean, it depends. It depends. Some restaurants I would recommend that you do. Most you don't need a reservation. Most restaurants you can just walk in, no problem. The thing is that it really just depends. I mean, once you're out here, what restaurants are the ones that are always busy and the ones that are not that busy all the time. So if you plan on going to a restaurant that is always busy, then yeah, it would be very smart of you, prudent of you, or I don't know what the right word would be, for you to get a reservation. Just to make sure that you have a table when you get there. But regardless, they're always gonna have a table for you. But if you're going to go out to dinner, the last thing you want is to get to a restaurant and then you're waiting for an hour for a table. So if you don't want to wait for an hour for a table and you want to just get in and sit down immediately, get reservations, no matter what the restaurant is. Again, this is someone that, worked in the restaurant industry most of his life. So it's always a smart idea to get reservations no matter what. But, there are certain restaurants out there that are always packed. You definitely got to get a reservation for those, all right? But the ones that are not always packed, like I said, you could probably just walk in. Don't worry about it, all right? But again, it doesn't hurt to call. Just call and just say, hey, I want to get some reservations, or do I need reservations? And they'll let you know immediately. They're like, yeah, how many reservations, for 4, what time, blah, blah, blah. Or they'll even say, oh, no, don't worry, you don't need a reservation. The books are clear. You can just walk in tonight. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Oh, shout out to Amputee Adventures. Oh, happy birthday to me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Senor. Really appreciate it. Muchas gracias, Senor James. You are the best. Shout out to James. Hopefully we can get your ass back out here soon. He had to go back to the USA to get some medical procedures done. But we miss you very much out here. David, Tree, me, all of us, and everybody in between. We all miss you very much and looking forward to seeing you out here again very soon. By the way, for those of you guys out there that don't know James, you guys can go check out his channel. He also has a channel where he talks about his story and talks about his situation out there. But yeah, he used to live out here, and we used to party all the time as well. And unfortunately, he had to get back to the U.S. to take care of some things. But he's on his way back to Merida real soon, and look forward to seeing you out here very soon. So thank you so much for the birthday wishes, man. Appreciate you. Oh, we got amputees. Anyway, James is saying, he's like, we got playing lots of craps and winning, so saving money. Oh, awesome. All right. Congratulations. That's right. That's right. By the way, I used to be a degenerate gambler way back in the day when I used to work at a sports bar in my early 20s. All right. So shout out to you, brother. You know, I suck at gambling. All right. I love it, but I suck at it. So that's why I stay away from it. So awesome. Oh, awesome. Yeah. So check out. Yeah. So back in the day when he used to live out here, you know, he did some party videos because we've done back in the day. We used to go to parties, you know, meetups, whatever, and we used to make videos out of it, record them. He used to do live streams. I think he has them on the channel, so you can watch those as well in case you're curious. So shout out to everyone out there. And I think that's it. I think we're gonna wrap it up. I see no more questions. I see no one else asking me anything. I think I got all the well wishes I was gonna get today. I got more well wishes that I know what to do with, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm telling you, the Bucks in Mayfield doing awesome. So anyway, so speaking of margarita and pool parties, you definitely got to get my margarita ready, and I definitely got to hose myself down out there because I don't got a pool, but I have a hose, so I'll just have my wife hose me down, all right, with a drink in my hand, and we'll call it a day, all right? So I got to get to that, all right? So... All right, guys. So you already know the deal. Again, I want to give a big shout out to all of you guys out there that sent in your donations. You know, your birthday gifts, your birthday well wishes. Again, big shout out to Katz, D-Mal, Terry Wright, Kel, Tim, the Tool Man. We got Mr. Hansen and who else do we have out there? And Travel Girl. Shout out to all of you guys. I really appreciate you guys. Love you guys so much. And you already know the deal. I'm going to see you guys here next week. Next week, we should have a regularly scheduled live stream. All right. So we'll be talking about whatever topic is on deck for next week. And you already know this Sunday, I got an upload. Next Tuesday, I don't know if I'm going to have a video up or not because, like I said, I took the week off. So we'll see if I can get a video up for next Tuesday. But you already know Tuesdays and Sundays I upload a video, and Thursdays I go live. Okay, so next week we should be back to a regularly scheduled schedule. And I'll see you guys there. And that's it. You know, time for me to head out of here. You know, we're been an hour and a half, and like I said, I got the hose, you know, I got the wife, I got the beer, and I got other libations waiting for me to get the party started. All right, so guys, you already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, you like these kind of videos, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please continue to stay awesome. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Thanks again for all the well wishes and all the love and support throughout the years. Thanks again for all the love and all the gifts. And that's it. Time for me to get out of here. So with all that said, let's get the DJ rolling out here again. And let's dance our night. Let's dance away out of here.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Go, 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 go. Go finance, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday.
Go, Jose, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. Later, guys. Appreciate it. See you on the next one. Bye.